Hey crafty friends, Kim from Stamping Imperfection. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'm using up some scraps of paper. I've been creating a bunch of cards lately with this beautiful Splendid Autumn stamp set. I created this one a little while ago and I like it, but I felt like I made the edge too busy. So I thought I would experiment a little with a different stamp set for creating an edge here. I didn't have quite the stamp set I was looking for, so I'm playing around with different designs. I like the way this card looks. I think it's really different, and I like a lot of the elements I have on the card. So I have a piece of leftover Splendid Autumn pattern paper here. This is the back. I love the patterns. This paper is gorgeous, and you really don't need anything more than a sentiment and maybe some ribbon or embellishments, and even that you don't really need. So I have a piece of this wavy trim left over from another project. I just got this trim. I thought it was perfect for fall projects. I just got these. These are adhesive back solid gems. I got them for like $2 or $3 on the clearance rack, and I'm pretty excited about these. I'm actually loving these little gems, and I've got some very vanilla cardstock, and I've got a piece of Cajun Craze. Now I do need to trim a little bit off this because it's going to be a ½ inch too long, and I'm thinking I'll take a little bit of this purple off the top. So I need this to be 5½ inches. So I'm just taking a ½ inch off the top because this was originally a 6x6 paper. So I should be good to go here. I've got this piece of Cajun Craze. This is 5½ by 8½. I did go ahead and score this at 4¼ so I'm just going to give it a good fold. And one other thing I need to trim away here is I'm going to cut off, and let me make sure I cut this at 3½ inches. So this is 4¼ so I'm going to cut 3/4 of an inch off the front of this card because I do want that little bit of card peeking through. I'm going to keep this piece because I will be using it, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this to the front of my card. So I love this liquid adhesive. This is absolutely my go-to adhesive. It's inexpensive, and a tube of this stuff lasts me for months, and I craft every day, so I can tell you that it's been a good value for my money. So I'm just putting this down on the card front. Now I feel like it's easier to line things up when I open the card up like this. That really allowed me to really line it up with that center fold there. Okay, so that's my card front so far. I will go ahead and add this piece. I definitely like that. I'm going to cut this off a little tiny bit though. I'm going to cut it off right here. I do want it to hang over just a little bit from one side to the other. So I'll cut it off right there. And I probably am not going to find a use for that. I'm going to go ahead and add some glue dots to this. I'll add one to each end, and I'll add one to the middle-ish. Oops. Just like that. And I'm going to go and add it across here because I definitely want the orange of this to show even after I get my sentiment on. So there we go. Let's talk about the inside. So on the inside of the card I want to use this Wildflower Designs. I was thinking I would like to add this little stamp here along the inside, although it is pretty big because this is only 3/4 of an inch, but I think that's okay. I'll just add a few of these to the inside. I want to add it in a lighter color that's less distracting. I was thinking wild wheat, but I think the wild wheat actually is pretty dark. So I'm going to use crumb cake, and I'm just going to tip this back and forth, and I'll stamp twice. Let's try this from the top. There we go. And then I can do one more in the center, like that, and maybe I'll do the stamp off one in the corner there. While I'm doing my stamping, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment, and my sentiment is going to go on the, here we go, it's going to go on this paper right here, and I do have a punch I want to use. I have my Labeled with Love punch, and I'm just going to punch out one of these. And I'm also going to use my punch with this strip of paper, and I'm just going to cut a bottom edge and a top edge. I could just cut two bottom edges. They're exactly the same. So I'm just going to cut it like that. And it gives me a chance to use my punches in a fun way and use up a scrap there. So I'm going to go ahead and now stamp my sentiment. My favorite color to stamp my sentiments is Cajun Craze this season, I have to tell you. I can't seem to get enough of it. So when I stamp, I just hold my stamp in place. Don't stamp and pull up immediately, just let it sit there. Don't wiggle it, don't tilt it, don't do any of that stuff, and don't push it down. You don't want to squeeze ink. You don't want to squeeze ink into all the letters in the spaces in the letters there. You want to keep those clear. So now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue just to the top here and along the bottom. And I'm just going to keep my glue out because I will be using it again. And then I'm just going to tip this over. I'm just going to add this on just like that. You could really just, if you had a bigger piece, you could punch the whole thing out and just cut it in two pieces and then offset the two pieces a little bit. That works also. But when I have strips, I just do this, and this works, and it lets you use up some of those little strips that you have hanging around. Just like this. And I kind of want to have an even amount of that Cajun Craze along the top and the bottom, even-ish. Okay, and I'm going to use some glue dots. Not glue dots, I'm going to use dimensionals for the back here. So I'll just put 5 dimensionals. Okay, so I'm going to add this to the front, and I want that orange to peek out here because I love how it pulls in that Cajun Craze from the card base. I'm going to go ahead and glue this in. Now this is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, so that leaves me enough for a nice border all around the whole edge of this. I do want some of that Cajun Craze peeking when I close that, and that's a little bit subtler of the side there compared to my other card. I really used a bold stamp. I do love the way it looks when I open it. So I'm not sorry I did that. I just wanted to see what it looked like if I used something a little bit softer, and I quite like it. So there's one card, and I am going to go ahead and add some of these little guys, and I haven't used the yellow yet, and I have no idea what color of yellow this is. It doesn't say on the package, but I am going to go ahead and add them. Let me just add one, or hold one on here and see if it's too bold, and I don't think it is. I think I'll be okay. I'm going to use one of the larger ones and one of the medium ones, just like that, and then I'll use a medium one. And I like to put my dots down in a triangle So I'll just put one over here. So I've got a visual triangle. So I've got a bunch of things here drawing your attention to my focal point. My focal point is that beautiful sentiment. Autumn teaches us that change can be beautiful. And I've got my ribbons here on either side with a little bit of fraying there. That are drawing your eye across. I've got the visual triangle of the embellishments pulling your eye across, and of course I've got the Cajun craze framing that as well. So here are the two different ones that I created. I'm just having a good time with these gorgeous Splendid Autumn papers and my autumn stamp sets and all the autumn coordinating colors that go along with the papers. So I'm super excited about it. These are quick and easy cards. As you can see, that was like a 10-minute card. So I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up, and if you subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. So thank you so much for watching, friends. If you want to purchase some Stampin' Up! Supplies, you can shop online in my Stampin' Up! Store at shopwithkim.net. Thanks so much for watching, friends. I hope you have a creative day. Have a great day.